Hello, beautiful souls. A warm welcome to all of you. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to dive into a topic so many of you have been asking me about, and this one actually comes from one of you in the comments. So, I hope you guys are all doing well. And the question was, how do we know if the signs we are seeing are really from the universe, if they are linked to our twin flame connection journey, or if they are just coincidences? So if you have been seeing butterflies, lotuses, hawks, peacocks, repeating numbers, or strange synchronicities, and wondering if they mean anything, this video is for you. Quickly, I'll just check if I can be heard, so just give me one moment. Okay, perfect. Oops. So let's start with why the signs even show up in the first place. Signs are not there to convince you the connection is real. Our soul already knows that. These signs are here to support you when your human mind starts doubting, getting impatient, or feeling lost. So when a blue butterfly or a orange butterfly or a red grasshopper appears, or you see 1111 or 222 or 555, it's not about chasing meaning. It's the universe whispering, stay aligned. The plan is unfolding and you're not alone. So I want you to really pay attention to this, all right? There are really two categories of signs you will experience. The first category are path signs. These are reminders you're on the right soul path in general. These aren't always about our divine masculine per se. They are about your mission, your vibration, your healing. Think of angel numbers or nature confirming your choices. Secondly, connection signs. These are tied directly to the twin flame field. So this one is with our divine masculine. So rare hawk sightings, song with words you two share. I kept, when I was in separation, I kept hearing this song, constantly, and it was in another language. So I never really knew what the song meant. But then one day I decided, I wanted to translate it, and I realized that's exactly what my DM was like trying to say to me. So this is what I meant. Songs with words you do share. Dreams that bring your DM into your space. These are confirmations that the energetic bond is active. And don't stress about separating them perfectly. Instead, ask, what is this sign showing me right now? Is it about staying in alignment, or about the bond itself? So here's a question I get a lot. Does looking for signs push energy? The answer is, signs themselves don't push anything. What creates resistance is when we attach urgency or expectation. So if you see a hawk and think, this means you'll message me tonight, that pressure blocks flow. But if you see it and receive it as the higher perspective is at play, it's a sign from the universe. Our divine masculine is awakening. Now you're using the sign for what it's meant for. Guidance, not control. So as you get closer to union, signs often intensify. You will notice rare animal sightings like hawks, eagles, wolves. Numbers shift from simple sequences like 1111 to mirrored codes like 1221, 1234, 3225, or even numbers linked to your birthday or union dates, And most of all, you will find yourself bumming into reminders of your divine masculine everywhere. Names, songs, people who carry your divine masculine's essence. These aren't random. They are evidence that the field is magnetizing closer and closer. So how do you know if it's a real sign or just coincidence? Simple. A sign repeats and resonates. So you see, a sign repeats and resonates. So One butterfly could just be nature, but butterfly showing up 3 times right when you're thinking about your connection, that's the universe. Example, suddenly you are seeing dragonflies in red color and purple color and in other colors. So it's a sign that the universe is trying to speak with you. And most importantly, signs carry a vibration. If you feel calm, affirmed, or lit up when you notice it, that's real guidance. If you're feeling anxious or pressured, that's your ego attaching to it. At the end of the day, the universe isn't playing games with you. Signs are the universe's love language. They are truly, truly gifts guiding us back to trust. So, whether it's a butterfly, a dragonfly, a hawk, or a grasshopper, or repeating numbers, or random numbers, remember the sign itself is not the destination, it's pointing you back to alignment, back to faith, back to the twin flame connection. So, you don't need signs to know this is real, but signs are the universe saying, we see you, keep going, the plan is unfolding. All right. So, the language of science, right? We have been, I gave you a brief introduction. So, how to work with synchronicities on the twin flame journey. So, in part 1, we talked about why signs show up, the 2 main types of signs, and how to tell the difference between coincidence and divine orchestration. In this part, we're going to explore something more advanced, how to actually work with signs without falling into confusion, fear, or addiction. So, one of the biggest traps for us divine feminines is what I call sign addiction. That's when you start obsessively checking, what does this number mean? Is this butterfly for me? Should I message my DM because of the hawk I saw? When you slip into this state, you stop being guided and you start chasing, and chasing always collapses the energy. So here's the truth: the universe doesn't need you to decode every single sign. Signs are supportive nudges, not puzzles you're meant to solve every hour of the day. So, how to decode signs without obsessing? The easiest way to decode a sign is to check your state of being in the moment it arrives. If you were doubting and a sign shows up, the universe is reassuring you. If you are about to take action, a sign may be confirming or redirecting you. If you weren't even thinking about your divine masculine, but a powerful synchronicity happens, that's the universe reminding you the bond is alive whether or not you're focused on it. So instead of running to Google every time, tune into how you feel when the sign appears. That's the true translation. That's why I always don't have fixed definition for the numbers. Every day when I do my daily channelings, I always have a new meaning attached to the numbers because they are constantly changing, and these numbers are meant for you only, so the code can speak differently to every one of us. All right. So signs versus soul pool. This is the key. Signs are not the same as the soul pool. The soul pool is the deep magnetic current between you and your divine masculines. Signs are just the ripples that show up in your environment because of that pool. So don't confuse the ripple for the ocean. Signs will come and go. The real thing you're navigating is the energetic tether of the monadic twin flame journey. So, signs closer to union. So, this is something that you guys are probably wondering at this point. As you get closer to union, signs become layered. It's not just butterflies or dragonflies or hawks or grasshoppers anymore. It's synchronicities weaving into your daily life in undeniable ways. You may see, like I had mentioned earlier, mirrored numbers like 1221 at the exact time you're thinking of giving up. You may overhear a stranger say your DM's name while you are asking the universe for guidance. You may dream something one night and then see it reflected in waking life the next day. At this point, the universe isn't playing with you. It's orchestrating alignment so precisely that you can't miss it. That's how you know union energy is moving closer. So that's why, Don't chase the signs, don't depend on them, and don't let them replace your inner knowing. And when a sign appears, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what is the universe confirming in me right now? The way you use signs as tools for alignment, not as distractions for the mind. Remember, the twin flame path is not about collecting signs, it's about embodying the frequency that the signs are pointing you toward, and that frequency is union. So that's why, again, in part one, we talked about why signs show up and how to tell if they are real. In part two, we looked at how to decode them without obsessing or falling into sign addiction. So in this part 3, we're going to take it to the advanced level and understanding signs as union codes, activations that don't just guide you personally but actually work at the level of the monadic field and the collective twin flame awakening. So you may ask me, what are union codes? When you see a sign, whether it's a butterfly or a dragonfly or a peacock or a repeating number or even a rare synchronicity, that sign is not just a message, it's a frequency delivery system. I call these union codes. They carry energy that activates your nervous system, your higher chakras, and even your DNA to align you more deeply with the divine union field. And that's why you don't just see a sign, you feel it. You get chills, your body lights up, your heart skips. That's the code embedding itself in your system. So here's the part most people miss. Signs are not only personal, they are collective. So for example, during eclipse seasons or portals like the recent one we had, 99 portal, you will notice that the whole twin flame collective reporting the same signs, like certain flowers, for example, or hawks or frogs or mirrored numbers. This isn't just your divine masculine sending you energy, it's the entire planetary grid sending out codes to us monadic twin flames who are anchoring reunion energy. So when you notice a sign at these times, ask, what is the universe asking you to anchor for the whole collective, not just your connection but for the wider web of unions activating now. So some signs are direct invitations into grid work. If you're a star seed or a monadic twin flame, you will notice that certain places or animals act as anchors. So hawks often show up as guardians of higher perspective, pulling you into soul mission work. Butterflies are transformation codes, guiding you to transmute shadow and step into higher embodiment. Every number sequences like 144 or 828 or 717 are grid codes that link you into specific activations happening across the planet. This is why your signs sometimes feel too big to be just about you and your divine masculine, because they are bigger and they're about anchoring the union frequency into the earth grid itself. So how do you actually work with signs as union codes? Number one, pause and receive. When a sign shows up, don't rush. Take a deep breath and let the vibration land. Number two, anchor the code. Place your hand on your heart or solar plexus and say, I receive this activation into my field. Number three, ask the right question. Not what does this mean for your divine masculine, but what does this align in you? What mission code is being unlocked? Release the outcome. Remember, the sign is not the result, it's the calibration. The outcome unfolds in divine timing. And when you treat signs this way, you shift from chasing to embodying, from looking outside to activating within. So part 3 is about seeing signs not just cute confirmations, but as union codes. These codes are alive, they're intelligent, and they're rewiring you for the frequency of the monadic twin flame union. And when you stop obsessing whether the sign means whether our divine masculine is going to text us, and instead ask, what is this activating in me and the collective, you'll step into the true twin flame mastery. And And that's how you move from passive sign watching into active frequency holding. And that is exactly what accelerates union. So, you know, we have already gone through 3 layers of these teachings: why signs show up, how to decode them, and how they act as union codes for the collective, for you and the collective, right? But now we are going to talk about the shadow side. Because if you have been in the journey long enough, you'll probably notice there are times when the signs can confuse us, and when they contradict each other, or when they suddenly vanish. And it's in this moment that your faith gets tested the most. Sometimes you will see a sign that feels positive, like a butterfly or an angel number, and then later you will see something that feels heavy, like a shadow animal or a message that triggers fear. Here's the truth: signs themselves don't confuse. What confuses is the ego mind attaching meaning where it doesn't belong. So if you're already anxious and you see a crow, you might think this is a bad omen. But from the universe's view, the crow is an ally. It's about transformation and mystery. So whenever signs feel confusing, pause and ask, am I interpreting this through fear, or am I receiving it through trust? So when signs contradict, one day you may see hawks everywhere, right? And you'll feel union energy building. The next day you'll feel blocked, and maybe you don't see any signs anymore. So you see something that feels like the opposite message. This happens because the twin flame path is polarized. The masculine and feminine poles often mirror opposite truths until the energy stabilizes. So the signs can feel contradictory because they're reflecting both realities: the higher truth of inevitable union and the current state of human resistance. Neither cancels the other out. They coexist until integration happens. So this is one of the hardest. Many of you, oops, many of you go through periods where the signs stop completely. No numbers, no synchronicities, no animals, just silence. And you panic as the universe abandons you. Did you imagine all of it? But here's the deeper truth, and I've talked about it in my other videos as well. The disappearance of signs is not a punishment, it's an initiation. The universe is saying you've been giving enough external confirmation. Now it's time to trust your inner knowing without constant reminders. Think of it as training wheels being taken off. The silence isn't rejection, it's a promotion. So what do you do when signs confuse, contradict, or disappear? Number one, don't panic. Signs are cyclical, just like energy waves. Anchor into inner truth. Ask, what do I know in my bones, even if no signs show up? Number three, detach from drama. The ego thrives on overreading every symbol. So stay centered, stay anchored. Number four, remember the bigger field. Just because signs feel off to you doesn't mean the union field has collapsed. The orchestration is still running underneath. This is the point where, as divine feminines, we mature into mastery, where you stop depending on constant signs and start embodying the frequency that attracts them naturally. So part 4 is about shadow navigation. If signs confuse you, it's usually fear coloring your lens. If they contradict, it's because you are seeing both poles of the journey at once. And if they disappear, it's because the universe is asking you to stand on your own inner knowing. The signs are never gone. They're simply rearranging to help you grow. Trust the silence, trust the contradictions, trust the orchestration is always alive, even when your eyes can't see it. All right? So we are really at a point, and we have come a long way in talking about the different parts. We have talked about why signs show up, how to decode them, how they act as union codes, and even how to handle when they confuse, contradict, or disappear. But there's one final stage we need to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it. And that's the stage where you no longer need signs at all, because the ultimate goal of the journey isn't to chase synchronicities, it's to become the living embodiment of the union frequency itself. So, like I said earlier, think of signs as training wheels. In the early stages, they are essential. They keep us balanced, they reassure us, they show you that the path is real. But just like training wheels, there comes a point where the universe takes them off, not because you're being abandoned, but because you've reached the level where your soul knows how to move forward without external confirmation. At mastery, you don't need constant butterflies or numbers to tell you the truth. We become the truth. So, what does it mean to embody the union frequency? It means you hold the field of divine union so deeply in your nervous system, your heart, and your energy body, that everything around you begins to mirror it naturally. You walk into a room and conversations align with your soul mission. You think of your beloved divine masculine, and instead of anxiety, you feel peace. You live your life in such deep alignment that the universe doesn't need to drop constant reminders, because you're already living as the reminder. And this is when signs shift from guidance to being background resonance. They still show up, but they orbit you. They are no longer the point. I see signs all the time, but it's not like, in the initial stages of the twin flame journey, where I was like, constantly screenshotting them or having a whole library. I know a lot of us, have a whole library of screenshots, right? But then it just becomes background resonance. So that's why when you transcend the need for signs, you step into resonance. Resonance is when our entire field vibrates with such clarity that everything around you confirms your state without you even asking. You don't look for angel numbers, they just flow across your day because your frequency is aligned. You don't ask for a hawk to show up. Hawks naturally circle when your vision is clear. You don't depend on signs to prove the bond. The bond lives in you, undeniable, whether or not you see anything outside. So the final test of signs is when the universe stops giving them all together and asks, will you still believe? Will you still embody union without external validation? This is where many of us divine feminines collapse back into fear. But if you pass this test, if you keep holding the frequency without needing constant reminders, you'll enter the field of true mastery, because union isn't confirmed by science, it's confirmed by our state of being. So that's why part 5 is about liberation. When you no longer need signs, we become the sign. Our life, our presence, our resonance, that's the living proof of union. The butterflies, the dragonflies, the peacocks, the lions, the tigers, the numbers, they still appear, but they are no longer your compass. They are the reflection of the compass you've already anchored within. That's the highest stage of the twin flame path. Not chasing signs, but becoming the embodied frequency of divine union itself. All right. With that, I really hope you have enjoyed this discourse, because you don't need signs to know the connection is real. But signs are the universe's way of saying, we see you, keep going, union is written, and the universe is always showing that truth. So at the end of the day, the universe isn't trying to play games with you. It's trying to remind you you are guided, loved, and supported. Union is not built on chasing signs, but on embodying the frequency they point you to it. So that's the reason why, whether you see grasshoppers or butterflies or rare synchronicities, remember the sign is not destination. It is the gifts that leads you back to alignment with your soul and your divine masculine through trust, not control. So with that, I really hope you have enjoyed this. Again, thanks to one of you who had recommended this topic. And I hope you guys can hear me loud and clear. And with that, I'll see you all again with another discourse. Keep the suggestions coming in, and I'll create discourses accordingly. All right. With that, if you guys want to work one on one with me, you can book. Via my website. You can book the special first time twin flame psychic reading. It's listed in the description below, and I'll try my best to give you I will give you an appointment within 24, 48 to 72 hours. All right. And all of my readings are via video call, and it's live. So you can ask me as many questions during our session. All right. All sessions are conducted by me. Again, I get these questions a lot. That's why I keep saying them in my videos. And again, I thank you all for your beautiful comments. I was reading them this morning, and they truly lit up my day. You guys are so kind, and I'm so glad. This community is so supportive. I see how you guys support one another. Truly, it's a blessing, and all praise to God, all gratitude to God always. And with that, I'll come back again with another video. I've also I'm introducing the post 99 portal healing and activations. For those of you who have missed the 99 portal healing, you can check that out on my website, and I highly recommend you see my website. A lot of you ask me, hey, recommend me some healings. My approach is that you go look at my website, look at the healings. Often my clients always say the healing that speaks to them, some healings just speak to them. So go with your intuition. If you feel this healing will be the best for you, go for it. And also remember, external teachers are only meant to inspire. Awaken the inner teacher within you, and remember, your higher self is always guiding you, and God is within us always. So with that, take care and be inspired, and see you all again. Take care. Love you loads.